144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zabulon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000.
That power is getting ready to be put back in us. For those who believe and have ears, that power that Yahweh Shah had on the earth, we're going to get that and more.
For the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, created man to be immortal. The man he created to be immortal is the Israelite man, the sons of God, the Israelite. Yashar Allah, Yashar Allah, Yashar Allah. He is the prince of the power. He created us to be immortal, to be gods, to never die, to be forever young, to be forever young. For the Heavenly Father created man, the Israelite man, to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. So when the Heavenly Father finally changes us and makes us into the image of his Son, it's like he sees himself in us because he sees himself in Yahushua. That's his Son. It's his only begotten Son. But see, we're being adopted back to the Heavenly Father by way of his only begotten Son, Yahushua. And the word adoption, it means to choose or select, elect. We're being adopted back to the Father. We're being chosen again.
Jerusalem is builded as a city that is compact together. Whither the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, unto the testimony of Israel, to give thanks unto the name of the Lord. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They shall prosper that love thee. Peace be within thy walls, and prosperity within thy palaces. For my brethren and companions' sakes, I will now say, peace be within thee. Because of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek thy good.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Now, what I want to get into, all right, this evening, is dealing with, Christians at Antioch, all right, because Christianity, there's a religion, the biggest religion in the world, and it's based off false pretenses, all right, even the name Christianity, okay, when you go into it, okay, it didn't really, represent, the followers of Yahushua, all right, but it was a term, put on, those followers, all right, but it wasn't, really, you go into Christianity and what it stands for today, it has nothing to do with the following of Yahushua, all right, and even the term, all right, because the original, the true Christians, all right, because pretty much it became a political term, because you have certain terms, even the name Jew. Okay, there wasn't a name, that we, called ourselves as a tribes. We're using our sovereignty. Right? We never called ourselves, a Jew. There was a term, put on the southern kingdom. All right, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. All right, during the Babylonian captivity. okay? And it stuck, it became a political term, just like today you have the ish people, okay? That term, all right, is not biblical, okay? But it has become a political term to represent a sect of people, okay? So Christianity is more of a political term, and it was given to our people, all right, the followers of Yahushua in Antioch. But we're going to see, amongst the body, we really didn't call ourselves Christians. When you go into the church, and the church being first set up, there wasn't, a term, that we use. We're going to go into the terminology that we use, and we're going to link it, all right, to the promises and to prophecy, Lord will. Now, I want to start off here. This is Proverbs 4:7. It said, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding. So as we come into this wisdom, we're hearing, particular things, but then we get to the point where we start really, understanding. All right, now we're to the point where we're understanding. Okay, everything is making sense from the law to the promises, to everything that we see is starting to make sense. We're coming into more and more understanding. All right, and that's what the ministry is for the edification, and we're being built up in understanding. Now, let's see. I got a picture. Now, this is out of the New Compact Bible Dictionary. All right, the Zondervan. Okay, as I've been reading it in a little bit lately, not a whole lot, but I came across this. Now, you go into the term Christian, it says the biblical meaning is adherent of a Messiah. The disciples were formerly called Christians first in Antioch. Now, let's deal with that, because let's read a couple of verses before that. All right, in Acts the 11th chapter, all right, and the people that they called Christians were Israelites. All right, and it was Israelite teachers and the followers, okay, of Yahushua. Now, when you go to the book of Acts, chapter 11, verse 19, it says, now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen traveled as far as Phoenix, because the followers of Yahushua was, they would be under persecution. Okay, and it was Israelites. Okay, you got these, today the banner of Christianity is just come one, come all. Okay, but that wasn't what was going on in the churches. All right, this was for Israelites, and we're going to read into these things. All right, so it says in Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto the Jews only. Okay, so when they was preaching in Antioch, they were preaching the word but to the Jews only, Israelites. You see that? Okay, because a Christian will go straight to Acts 11:26, but who was they speaking to? They accuse us of being out of context and cherry picking. Well, we're reading a couple of verses up so we can get what? The context. Who's being addressed? Okay, in Antioch. Okay, preaching the word to none but the Jews only. And some of them were men of Cyprus and Cyrene, when they were come to Antioch, spake unto the Grecians. Okay, we're going to deal with that term in a minute. Preaching the Lord Yahushua. And the hand of the Lord was with them, and a great number believed and turned into the Lord. Okay, the believers. So who was being converted? Israelites that were scattered. Okay, it said, then tidings of these things came unto the ears of the church which were in Jerusalem. All right, the heads, Peter, all right, James, John. Okay, and they went and they sent forth Barnabas that he should go as far as Antioch, who when he came and had seen the grace of the Most High was glad, and exhorted them all that with purpose of heart they would cleave unto the Lord. So Barnabas is pretty much following up. He's been sent from the heads. Okay, but yeah, he's sending glad tidings. To what? To exhort. All right, those newly converted. All right, Israelites that were scattered in these different places, man. All right, throughout Asia Minor, Rome. Okay, it said, for he was, all right, for he was a good man and full of the Holy Spirit and of faith, and much people was added unto the Lord. Then departed Barnabas to Tarsus and to seek Saul, and when he had read okay, yep, and it's speaking of Paul before his name was changed. It says, and when he had found him, he brought him to Antioch, and it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people, and the disciples, okay, were called Christians first in Antioch. Okay, but this the heads of the church didn't put that term on the disciples, on the believers. Okay, that was a political term pretty much put on them. Okay, within what, man? Amongst the heathen. You know, it was more of a derogatory term. All right, like Jew, it was more of a derogatory term. Okay, it became a political term on how you identify, you know, a sect of people. Okay, so let's go here. Because what was they being taught? All right, that's another thing. Let's go to this. Because what were they being taught? All right, so you go to Acts 28. You know, you got to bring this point out. You know. So this is the book of Acts chapter 28. All right, and we'll start at 17. All right. This Acts 28:17 says, and it came to pass that after 3 days, Paul called the chief of the Jews together, and when they were come together, he said unto them, men and brethren, though I have committed nothing against the people or customs of our fathers, all right, the customs of our fathers, because this all goes back to promises made to our fathers, and this promise was made to a particular seed line, okay, Israelites, okay. It said, yet was I delivered prisoner from Jerusalem into the hand of the Romans, who when they had examined me, would have let me go, because there was no cause of death in me. But when the Jews spake against it, I was constrained to appeal unto Caesar, not that I had aught to accuse my nation of. For this cause, therefore, have I called for you to see you and to speak with you, because that for the hope of Israel. Okay, so who was Apostle Paul speaking? The hope of Israel. All right, therefore the hope of Israel, I am bound with this chain. So the Apostle Paul, all right, never opened up salvation to heathen, to actual other nations. He fully understood who he was teaching, man. He fully understood who those that consider themselves Greeks and Gentiles. He fully understood that they was Israelites. Okay, and that's why he will often go into what? The history of the promise. Okay, and they said unto him, we neither received letters out of Judea concerning thee, neither any of the brethren that came showed or spake any harm of thee, but we desire to hear what thou thinkest, for as concerning this sect, okay, and there was the believers, the followers of Yahushua, all right, this sect, because there was a sect, all right, let's get this word sect, see what he goes into, but there was a sect of Israelites that believed in Yahushua, there was a remnant, okay, you get that word sect, all right. So you go into it in the Greek.
Strong's G 139. Hyresis.
Okay. It says that which is chosen. It says a body of men following their own tenet, sect, or party. All right. So you had a particular group of men that were true followers of Yahushua. All right, and they wasn't referring to themselves as Christians. Okay, now we're gonna go into what they was referring to themselves, man. This is Acts 28 and 23, and it says, and when they had appointed him a day, there came many to him into his lodging to whom he expounded and testified the kingdom of the Most High, persuading them concerning Yahushua, both out of the law of Moses and out of the prophets, from morning till evening. So what was Apostle Paul teaching out of? How can Apostle Paul, would you have Israelite groups that say Apostle Paul, right, like he was doing his own thing, but he was teaching out of the same book Yahushua was teaching out of, man. Okay? Out of the Old Testament. You see? He was teaching out of the same book, breaking down the same scriptures, which he was taught, all right, by Yahushua. So these Israelite foreigners, all right, which in the New Testament sometimes referred to as Gentiles or Greeks, okay, he's teaching them, okay, out of what? The Hebrew scrolls. Okay, and we're going to get into those scrolls, man. But just to prove that point real quick, all right, just to prove that point, you see, Jake tripping, The Spirit just bring out, the points they want to bring out. This is the book of Luke, chapter 22, okay? Let me see. Might be 24. All right, this is Luke 24, and then this is after the resurrection, Luke 24. All right, and 42. All right, and then pretty much Yahushua is showing himself to his disciples, and he's showing them that, look, I'm back. I'm back, baby. And hey, this is heavy. Yahushua being back, that means we good. Okay? When Yahushua rose from the dead, it was over with for everyone outside of the elect of Israel. It was over with. Okay? This is our victory, man. Okay? So he's showing himself amongst the believers. Is Luke 24 and 42. It says, and they gave him a piece of broiled fish and of an honeycomb, and he took it and did eat before them. And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled which are written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. Okay? So what was Yahushua teaching out of, man? The Old Testament, the law of Moses, the prophets and the Psalms concerning him. Then open he their understanding that they might understand the scriptures. Okay, and who did the Apostle Paul? Who did he learn from? Yahushua. So when he's teaching out of the, okay, let's read it again. Just for edification. All right, this is Acts 28 and 23, and it says, and when they had appointed him a day, there came many to him in his lodging, to whom he expounded and testified the kingdom of the Most High. All right, and when you go into the Old Testament, it clearly tells you that the kingdom is for who? Israel. Okay? You see that? Persuading them concerning Yahushua. How did Yahushua teach himself? Okay? Let's read. But both out of the law of Moses and out of the prophets from morning till evening. So the Apostle Paul and Yahushua, all right, Yahushua and the Apostle Paul was on the same accord, man. All right, Jake tripping, and they're just, come on, man. This is Galatians 1 and 1. Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Yahushua Hamashiach, and the Most High, the Father, who raised him from the dead. Okay? Come on, man. All right, so they was aligned, man. Okay? So, as we go back here, I just, Spirit, wanted to bring that out. So let's go back here. All right? Now it says, Christian, says the biblical meaning is adherent of, all right, of Mashiach. The disciples were formerly called Christian first in Antioch. Agrippa recognized that to believe what Paul preached would make him a Christian. Okay? Which at the end of the day, the Apostle Paul was using guile because of the circumstances he was in. All right, Agrippa could never be, okay, a converted unto this truth. All right, he's an Edomite. Okay, it says Peter accepted the name as in itself basis for persecution. All right, and the reason why Peter, which you will get there, 1 Peter 4:16, you gotta remember Peter. You gotta understand who is this book addressed to. All right, you go to 1 Peter. All right, who is he writing to? Because this is after the death of Paul. All right, and the Apostle Paul's lot was to the Israelite foreigners. So the head of the church, Peter, is writing a letter to the believers. All right, those Israelite foreigners, okay, the uncircumcision. All right, and let's see who the letter is headed to. 1 Peter 1:1. Peter, an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, okay, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Okay, so who is the letter addressed to? All right, it's addressed to those different churches that were set up by the Apostle Paul. So the Apostle Peter is following up, confirming their faith. Okay, and to prove that he understands that these are Israelites, he says, elect according to the foreknowledge of the Most High, the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience of the sprinkling of the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, grace unto you and peace be multiplied. Okay, so he knows, all right, he's writing to these Israelite foreigners, and when you get here, because you got to understand, the persecution of the church is beginning. Okay, and the powers to be, the government that was set up, all right, the Greco-Roman government that was set up, they classified the believers of Yahushua as Christians. There wasn't a name that they put on themselves. I'll say that became a political term. Just like now, they're going to identify us as what? Black identity extremists. That's not a name that we put on ourselves, okay? But they're gonna put those different names on us, man. Okay? As they go into what? The persecution. All right? So when Peter, 1 Peter chapter 4, okay, when he's saying these things, all right, what is he talking about? What? The suffering, because it's persecution. 1 Peter 4:16, yet if any man suffer as a Christian, and he's talking about what? A follower of Yahushua. Okay, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify the Most High on this behalf. Okay, so the Apostle Peter, he uses the word Christian. All right, there was the way that they was categorizing the believers. All right, that was amongst the Gentiles. Okay, as Christians. So he's writing to them and letting them know about what? Suffering, all right, as a believer. But he used a term that they was already being, categorized as. Okay, because you go here, Eliashua Wamba always brings this out. It's Revelation 12. And all right, 10, it says, and I heard a loud voice. All right, Revelation 12:10. I heard a loud voice saying in heavens, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. Okay, which accused them before our power day and night. Okay, and you go to here to accuse. All right, because this testimony is going to defeat this devil, man. All right, because the part of the testimony of Yahushua coming back to make war with this place, man. All right. Yep. So you go into the word the accuser. All right, and you go into the Greek word is what?
Strong's G 2725. Kategaras. Kategoras.
Category.
Thayer's Lexicon, related entry. Categor. Categor.
Category. Which sound like what? Category. Okay, because for this devil, okay, brings his persecution, he pushes his propaganda, which pretty much puts you in the category. Okay, and now we see that he wants to link us to what? Islamic terrorists, which is going to what? Put us in the category. Okay, so that term Christian pretty much was a way, all right, that Greco-Roman, all right, empire would categorize, all right, the believers, and that's why you have what? The persecution of the Christians, man. Okay, so let's go back here, and we're gonna go into these terms. All right, it says Peter accepted the name as in itself basis for persecution. You see that? The apostles wrote of themselves, all right, as what? As servants, slaves of Hamashiach. Okay. The New Testament calls the followers of Yahushua brethren or disciples, saints, and believers. Okay? This is what the church was referring to itself. All right? That name Christian came, all right, it was a secular term put on the believers, man. Okay? So let's get some of these things and go into it. All right? And link it to prophecy, link it to the promise. Okay? So you go to Romans chapter 1 and 1. All right, Romans 1 and 1, it says the gospel exalted. It says Paul, a servant of Yahushua HaMashiach, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of the Most High. Okay, so the apostle Paul, he referred to himself as what? A servant. Okay, so the slave, a bondman. All right. A slave, it says metaphorically, one who gives himself up to another's will. Those whose service is used by Hamashiach in extending and advancing his cause among men. Okay? So what? They called themselves servants because they were serving. And they wasn't pushing, okay, love everyone. They wasn't pushing, all right, everybody that can be saved. They wasn't pushing a hell doctrine. They was pushing the kingdom, okay, for Israel, the promises of the forefathers. Okay? See, what we're doing, we're establishing, all right, the understanding of the kingdom that's to come. That's serving. Okay? Serving, handing out turkeys on Thanksgiving with the church. Okay? Singing to Jesus in the choir. That's not serving. That has nothing to do with the kingdom that Yahushua is coming to establish in the earth, man. Okay, the Salvation Army, you ringing the bell in front of, Sam's for Christmas. That's not serving. Okay, usher, okay, at the church. That's not serving. All right, a true servant is someone who's advancing the kingdom of Yahushua through in this time is what? Teaching, which is pushing the understanding of the kingdom to come. Okay, and the believers that aid those men and do so. All right, you brothers. All right, even if you're not teaching, you're supporting the ministry. You're supporting the live streams. You've been built up, edified. Okay, you sisters, the aid, in tithes, garments. Got your stores and different things going on that have supplies for brothers like this. You're serving. Okay, you see, that's what the church referred themselves to as servant, because you go here because before you become a servant. All right, let's get this in the book of Acts. All right, real quick. Let's get this in Acts 6. Okay, this is Acts 6 and 1. It says, in those days, when the number of disciples were multiplied. Now wait, because we become disciples before we begin to serve. Let's get this word disciples.
Strong's G 3101. Mathetes. Mathetes.
Mathetes. Okay? Which, when you go into it, is as a learner, a pupil, or a disciple. So we all become, all right, disciples. Then we begin to serve. You know? we believe in the word, we become disciples, and then we begin to serve. Okay? And this is what the church was calling themselves, man. You know, servants, disciples, believers, or brethren. Okay? So it says, and in those days when the number of disciples were multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians against the Hebrews because their widows were neglected in the daily ministration. Now, when you go here, Acts 6:1, but as the believers rapidly multiplied, there were rumblings of discontent. The Greek-speaking believers complained about the Hebrew-speaking believers, saying that their widows are being discriminated, okay, against in the daily distribution of food. Now, you go to Grecians, okay, it was just Greek-speaking Israelites. All right, so when you go here, let's see, just in the same dictionary, okay. Now, when you go into the Zondervan dictionary, which, hold on, just so you say, you know, Jake might say that nigga lying. Let's see, I can flip it. Come on, camera. Yeah, the camera's small as hell. I'm trying to flip it. Hold on. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm trying to flip the camera and give me that option. Let's see. And give me the option to flip the camera. I want to show the definition. I ain't got the lie. Jake be arguing, nigga. I ain't got the lie. If I wanna, I'll just flip the whole phone, you know. Hopefully y'all can see it. Let me see. So in this same book, all right, I should have took a picture of it, you know, Salakia, you know. I like to be in order, all right. But the same book, all right, the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. So we're gonna get that term Grecian. All right. So this that term. Let's see. Can we get it on there? It might. Hope it's showing. All right. So we'll read it. All right. So it says, right, the definition for Greece. Make sure it's on there. All right. The definition for Greece. All right. It says Greeks are generally those of Hellenic race. And all right. But the word may be used to indicate non-Jews, foreigners, or aliens. Grecians were Greek-speaking Jews, folks of the dispersion, okay, from areas predominantly Greek. You see that? So the Grecians that was murmuring, all right, the Greek-speaking believers were just Greek-speaking Jews. You see? That's who the Grecians were. All right? They were just Greek-speaking Jews. You see? So when you read this in the NLT, Acts 6 and 1, but as the believers rapidly multiplied, there were rumblings of discontent. The Greek-speaking believers, which were Grecians, as it says in the King James, all right, the Greek-speaking Hebrews, Greek-speaking Jews complained about the Hebrew-speaking believers, okay, saying that their widows were discriminated against in the daily distribution of foods, okay? So these disciples, these learners, all right, which will become, servants, okay? But these are the terms we was calling ourselves, man. We wasn't calling ourselves, okay, Christians. That was a term put on us, let's say, by secular government, man. Okay? It's the book of Acts 15, it's like Acts 14, all right, and 12. All right, so you had, the term servants, all right, which, matter of fact, let's get that real quick, then we'll get that. Because James, okay, James 1 and 1, James, a servant of the Most High and the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. Okay, the 12 tribes that were scattered abroad. Okay, so the disciples, all right, wasn't just teaching to any and everybody, man. All right, the apostles, they weren't, nah, man. All right, that term Christian, in which today Esau has, utilized that banner of Christianity to push a great deception in the earth, man, with their false, all right, narrative of the Bible. All right, and Christianity has nothing to do with the Bible. Christians are more into Halloween than the throne of David. Okay, there's people that have their whole houses. There's Christians that have their whole houses decorated with Halloween, okay, decorations, will have no understanding of the throne of David, the promises of Abraham. All right, and we're going to get into those things, man. All right, so this is the book of Acts chapter 14. All right, and in verse 2. I started at 1. It says, and it came to pass, all right, in Iconium, that they went both together into the synagogues of the Jews, and so spake that a great multitude, both of the Jews and also of the Greeks, believe. Okay, the circumcision and the uncircumcision. All right, why is it only saying Greeks, man? Because of the Hellenization of Judea during the time, okay, of the Greek Empire. So we got to touch on their history, and we'll briefly touch on it so we can understand that, it's something me and the the brothers in Mobile was going into, when I was, had the honor of holding camp with those brothers. Okay, so we'll touch on a few of those things. All right, this is First Maccabees 1. All right, because we became, all right, a lot of our people became Hellenized, okay, and became assimilated into Greek culture, all right, through tyranny, man, through murder. All right, this is First Maccabees 1 and 44. It said, for the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. So this is Hellenization. Okay, this is what happened to us as a people. Okay, but because we read the epistles, as we are reading the New Testament was written, okay, under the Roman captivity. Okay, but before the Romans ruled, you had the Greeks. Okay, and the Greeks had a major impact on the culture, all right, of our people. All right, And it says, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. So by the time we're reading in the book of Acts, okay, Timothy, okay, this is a few hundred years after. Okay, so you had generations of our people, all right, that was Hellenized, man. Okay? It says, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. Okay, we can't, if you don't understand that part, all right, you don't understand that history, the New Testament, and that's why Christianity is able to make a doctrine, okay, based off whosoever and all, scriptures that say that and have no understanding, because the Christians don't have no understanding of the Greek captivity, all right, and what happened to us as a people, all right. Christians are taught not to even think, man, just to do, okay, shut up and believe, all right. This second Maccabees 6 and 1, it says, not long after the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers, and not to live after the laws of the Most High, and pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympus, and that in garrison of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire, all right, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and beside that brought in things that were not lawful. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. Okay, so if they couldn't profess themselves to be a Jew in the Greek captivity, what were they professing themselves, man? And remember, this was under the threat of imminent death. Okay, so when we read scriptures in the New Testament, okay, let's read this again. Acts 14 and 1, and it came to pass, all right, in Iconium, okay, was a Greek city state, that they went. Oh, let me make sure, because it might be in Rome. Okay, your Asia Minor, all right, a Greek city state, Iconium. All right, you get the icon, which is little image. Okay, you get the word icon. All right. Yep, and it says that they went both together into the synagogue of the Jews, and so spake that a great multitude, both of the Jews and also of the Greeks, okay, this is Israelites. You now when you see Greeks, you shouldn't think of an Edomite and a toga. No, these were Jakes that was Hellenized, man. Okay, it said Jews and also of the Greeks believed. Okay, and what did they believe? Because what was being taught, we just went over. What were they teaching out of? The Old Testament. You see, they were teaching out of the Old Testament, man. So let's get that. Let's see. In 1 Timothy. All right, let's get that in 1 Timothy 4. All right, 1 Timothy 4 and 12. It says, let no man despise thy youth, but be an example of the believers in word and conversation and charity and spirit and faith and purity. So when you go to believers, remember, you believe by hearing of the word, then you become a pupil or a disciple, then you begin to serve. You see, then we begin to serve. All right, so let's go here. So you get that word believer.
Strong's G 4103. Pistos.
Pistache.
Pistos.
Pistache. All right. Now, so you go here to section 2, definition B. It says in the New Testament, one who trusts in the Most High's promises, one who is convinced that Yahushua has been raised from the dead. Okay, what promises are we trusting in? Okay, and to be of that promise, all right, because you got this here. So we're going to deal with believers here, believers of the Most High's promises. Believe Yahushua rose from the dead. We're going to touch on those things. All right, so when you go to the book of Acts 9, the book of Acts. All right. All right, because Yahushua being raised, who is he raised for? Let's go to Romans first. All right, Romans 9. Let's start at 1. Romans 9 and 1, it says, I say the truth in Yahushua. I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit that I have great heaviness and sorrow and heaviness and continued sorrow in my heart. For I could wish, all right, that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. And who was the Apostle Paul kinsman? Because what was Apostle Paul? An Israelite of the tribe of Benjamin. All right, Romans 11 and 1. Well, he goes into brethren. Okay. Let you get this.
Strong's G80. Adelphos. Adelphos.
And this is where you get, all right, Philadelphia. Okay. You know, it says having, I say their brother whether born of the same two parents or only of the same father. All right, and if you the man determines the seed. Okay, because the woman can have a child of different, you know, because she can deal with a man that's a Moabite, then she can deal with a man that's an Ammonite. Well, those children or whatever the father was, but the father, he can deal with multiple women, and their seed from those multiple women are going to be, all right, of the same nation. Okay, having the same national ancestor, belonging to the same people or countrymen. Okay, the brethren. Okay, they come from that lineage, that particular lineage, that particular stock. Okay, those are who the true believers, the servants. Okay, the saints, the followers. Okay. So let's go here. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High. So only Israelites can directly serve the Most High. Okay? The Israelite man is directly serving the Most High through his son Yahushua. The Israelite woman serves the Israelite man. Okay? And these nations, all right, serve us. Okay? But the direct service, all right? The matter of fact, reading NLT says, and the service of the Most High and the promises. It says, this is Romans 9 and 4. They are the people of Israel, chosen to be the Most High's adopted children. The Most High revealed his glory to them. He made covenants with them and gave them his law. He gave them the privilege of worshiping him and receiving his wonderful promises. Let's read this in the NLT, verse 5. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are their ancestors, and Yahushua himself was an Israelite. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. He said, as far as his human nature is concerned, and he is, no, they tripping on that. All right. Okay, I'm not going to read that. And until it went left a little bit on that. It says, not as though the word of the Most High. Let's read verse 6. Not as though the word of the Most High have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are Israel, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all the children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of the Most High. All right, was the children of the flesh was Ishmael, Esau. All right, but Jacob was a child of promise, and his sons, okay, inherited their promise from him, which you had the 12 tribes. But the children of the promise are counted for the seed. Okay, so going into, all right, what we believe. Let's read this in 5 in the NLT. Romans 9 and 5 said, whose are the fathers, and of whom is concerning the flesh Yahushua came. So preaching Yahushua resurrected is beneficial to who? Israelites. Okay, who is over all the Most High, blessed forever. Amen. Now, as we read in 1 Timothy 4 and 12, he spoke about the believers. He told Timothy to be example to the believers. Well, believing in what? What was being taught? Okay, as we read, Yahushua taught out of the Old Testament. Okay, Apostle Paul was teaching out of the Old Testament. So if Apostle Paul taught Timothy, what was Timothy teaching out of? Okay, and where do you go to find these promises, man? Okay, let's go here, beginning with Abraham. All right, this Genesis 17 and 1. It says, when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the almighty power, walk before me and be thou perfect, and I will make my covenant between thee and me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name be any more, all right, shall thy name any more be Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. This is a promise to Abraham, which was passed down to Isaac, then to Jacob. All right, we're going to prove that. All right, so let's get some more promises. Because if kings coming out of Abraham, that he's promising Abraham rulership. All right, we're going to expound on that some more. Okay, this Genesis 22. All right, Genesis 22 and 10. It says, and Abraham stretched forth his hand. All right, now this was Abraham getting ready to sacrifice Isaac. Okay, this was Abraham's test, which we're all finna be tested, because we're finna have to sacrifice everything, because this was Abraham's heir. Okay. Now this is Genesis 22 and 10. It says, Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here I am. And he said, lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest the Most High, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. Okay? And Abraham called the name of the place. All right, you look in the Hebrew, you say Jehovah Jireh. All right, when you go into the Hebrew, it's Yahweh. All right, Yahweh Ra'ah. Now you go into that word, okay, Ra'ah. It says to look, to inspect, to perceive, to consider, okay, to regard. All right, and this is where the Lord, he perceived, he inspected, he considered Abraham's faith by what he was getting ready to do. Okay, and the Lord is going to look upon us in our temptation to perceive and inspect our faith, man. Okay, it says, as it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time and said, By myself have I sworn, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai, for because thou hast done this thing and hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and the sea and thy seed shall possess the gates of his enemies. You see that? Now let's read this in verse. Let's read this in NLT verse 17, Genesis 22 and 17. And I will certainly bless you. I will multiply your descendants beyond number, like the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will conquer the cities of their enemies. The saints shall take the kingdom. All right, that's another name. All right, that we will call ourselves, in the old church. It's saints. Okay, you see that? So this is promised to Abraham. So we're in that time. Well, guess what? As descendants of Abraham's, we're from to conquer the cities of our enemies, man, under Yahweh Shai. And in thy seed, verse 18, in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice, man. All right, and those nations begin with who? Israel. Okay, the people of the promise, the people of the covenant, because each tribe is likened unto a nation. Okay, so let's prove who that blessing was passed down to, man. Let's get this in Psalms. All right, 105. Psalms 105 and 1. It says, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord. Call upon his name." Okay, call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the people. Okay, and this is what we're doing today. We're making the Lord's deed known amongst the people. Okay, this is what we're doing real time. All right, making the Lord's deeds known amongst his people. Okay, not only amongst his people, but the earth. All right. So it says, "Sing unto him, sing psalms unto him, talk ye of all his wondrous works. Glory ye in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seek the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Shai. Seek the Lord in his strength. Seek his face forevermore. Remember his marvelous works that he have done, his wonders and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Abraham, his servants, ye children of Jacob, his chosen." Okay? And this is what was being taught to the Grecians. Okay? This is Psalms, right? Let's bring that out. Let's bring this out again. Okay? The apostles, they taught what was taught to them. We're reading in Psalms, right? So let's get this. Let's get this out. Psalms 24. Let's straight to the point. And this is Yahweh Shai. It's Psalms 24 and 44. And he said unto them, "These are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled which are written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. Then open he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures." So when the apostles was teaching, this was part of the teaching. We in the book of Psalms. You see? Come on, man. All right. Psalms 105 and 6. "O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen." So why would they be teaching this to heathens? Okay. It says, verse 7, "He is the judge of power. His judgments are in all the earth. He remembered his covenant," which we read, the covenant he made with Abraham. Okay, kings shall come out of Abraham. Okay, which represents what? Rulership. Okay, a perpetual rulership. "The word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, which covenant he made with Abraham, and unto an oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant." Okay, for an everlasting covenant. So when you go here, what's that? Let's get that Sirach 44. Is it 40? Might be. Let me see. Yep. Spirit. All right. Psalms 44:19 said, Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory was there none like him. Why does it keep going through this history, man? And this is what was being taught. Okay? The people that you know, that was considered Christians in the New Testament, this was being taught to them, man. Christianity doesn't go into these things, man. The promises, the throne of David, they don't go into these things, man. Sirach 44:19, Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh, and when he was proved, going back to Genesis 22, when he was proved by his willingness to sacrifice Isaac, he was found faithful. Therefore he assured him by an oath that he will bless the nations in his seed, and that he will multiply him as the dust of the earth, and exalt his seed as the stars, and cause them to inherit from sea to sea, okay, and from the river unto the uttermost part of the land, and that's our inheritance, man, the earth, okay. But the headquarters is gonna be where? In Israel, man, out of Jerusalem. With Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men in the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him an heritage, and divided his portion amongst the 12 tribes did he part them. Okay? You see that? This is what was being taught. Okay? When they was in Antioch and they put that term Christianity on them, this what was being taught, man. Not this BS of today. Okay? Not the Christianity, that plantation Christianity of today, man. That wasn't being taught. Okay? All right? And we wasn't calling ourselves Christians, man. All right? It was brethren. Okay? Servants. All right? Disciples, believers, or saints. Okay? So let's get that real quick deal with saints. You know? In the New Testament, and link it up with the Old. See, we wasn't the New Testament teachings, all right, didn't contradict Old Testament teaching. All right, it expounded on Old Testament precepts. All right, so this is the book of Acts chapter 9, verse 10. It says, and there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias, and to him said the Lord in a vision, Ananias. And he said, behold, I am here, Lord. And the Lord said unto him, arise and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas for one called Saul, or Tarsus, for behold, he prayeth. And he have seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in, and putting his hand on him, that he might receive his sight again. Then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many, all right, of this man, how much evil he have done to thy saints, all right, at Jerusalem. Okay? So this was another term we was being called was saints. All right? And when you go into the scriptures, who was being referred to as saints? All right, who are the saints? Let's get that in Psalms. Okay? In Psalms, let's get this Psalms 148:14, get to the point. Psalms 148:14. He also exalted the horn of his people. You see? He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even the children of Israel. So who are the saints? The children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Lord. Okay? So the Old Testament, well, that's the terms, okay, that the church was calling themselves, man. Okay? They wasn't calling themselves Christian. That was a name put on us, man. All right? Brethren. All right? Disciples, believers. So you go here to the Revelation, okay? And we'll end it here, Revelation 7 and 9. It says, after this I behold, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people, and tongue stood before the throne, and the Lamb, all right, and before the Lamb clothed with the white robes and palms in their hand. All right, and this is the gathering of, okay, the elect. Okay, this is after the what, deliverance. Who's going to be delivered? Because you go into kindreds, okay, which is Fule. All right, and what does it say? In the New Testament, all persons descended from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob, the brethren, the saints, the believers, the disciples. Okay, from Revelation to Genesis is speaking of this lineage of the sons of God. Okay, ain't no getting around it, man. All right, so that was the point. Lord will you, brothers. All right, and you few sisters was edified once again. I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the whole elect. Shalom. Call me Yashala. Abba. We almost out of here. We almost gone. So stay strong in the faith. Keep self-developing. And the Lord is gonna do His part. Shalom.